Alright, what's going on everyone? So, we're going to continue on our stealth build. Just been putting this over here to make sure the cats don't jump on here. So, we cut out this square right here. That's what will allow our radiator to sit right here and have the barb fittings fit right through there. Then I went ahead and cut out a section in the middle just for minimal obstruction for our airflow. I think I'm going to go back and just take out one more row on the bottom side since there's plenty of room. And you can see these holes here for the fans to screw into. Most of them do actually line up with one of these existing perforated holes here. There's a couple I may just have to either drill out a little bit bigger. Probably just use the Dremel to widen a couple of the holes. Otherwise, most of them kind of line up, so we'll be able to just screw the fans through the metal frame into the radiator, and that'll hold everything into place. So, like I said, we're gonna go back and just trim one of these off, and we'll be able to mount the fans. And then on our side here, or actually the top of the system, I've got another hole cut out in the top of the case. That is so that this can be mounted right here. And I don't really want to use reservoir mounts because this will then stick out pretty high up. You can see, here's a couple of the mounts I have. I have two other ones there. They're pretty much the same. You can see it's going to add another, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. And even if this is flush against the metal frame, it's still going to stick out. At least half of the reservoir will stick out of the top of the hard drive. So, and I don't really want to make that farther because then it might as well just be sitting directly on top. Which, I don't know, maybe that'll work better than I just cut out like I normally do for the window, except it will just allow this to kind of sit inside there a little bit. But it will have to kind of be moved to the front as far as I can, about right here, because as you can see, that hole isn't all the way to the end, and that is because, well, there's something in the way there. So this is pretty much where it has to go if it's going to be sitting on this side. So that's going to be our next step. Is we're going to take this apart, pretty much gut it. I no longer need this connection or any of that stuff at all. Like I said, I'll be using a micro USB flash drive basically as the hard drive for this, which will have significantly more space than even the 60 gigabyte hard drives anyway. That can be used as your hard drive or for gamer profile and all that kind of stuff. It'll have, I think I have 130 gigabyte flash drive. If not, I can even get a 250 and they're still small enough to fit even in the front port. And it'll still fit behind the USB door so you won't even see it. Or just in the back here, which I believe the one on the back I think is the 3.0. I could be wrong. Maybe that's just on the Slims, but yeah, either way, that works great. That's what I'm using currently in the Eyeball Xbox. Even though that one has a hard drive, I just have all my data on a flash drive for some of the games I've been playing recently. That's just so that I can easily take that out, put it into the Slim, and just kind of go back and forth without having to transfer the data or any of that, or use a transfer cable, or take the hard drive out of that one and put it inside the Slim hard drive case so it fits in there, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we've taken this out, gutting it, and then basically cut a big hole in the bottom, big hole in the top. It'll still have the side. The outside will look pretty much the same. It'll still be able to screw these back together, which is very important. Our main thing is to not mess with this. That kind of slides in to the case. That's what holds the back on. And then the front is obviously held on by these little clips here. So as long as those are in, it's going to hold together just fine. So that's what we're going to work on today, getting that to work. Finish cutting this. Mount that, and then all we have left to do is figure out, I mean, we kind of already have the wiring set up. Got our pump plug-in here, a little 3-pin. But yeah, that way, once that's cut out, obviously there's a lot of modification that we will have to do to the top half of the case. So basically we'll have to cut out the pump top, will kind of stick out a little bit, fan, and then I want to cut a large square or rectangle window up top. And I have a mirror film. I believe I already talked about that. I'm going to use the thicker acrylic piece I have that's more sturdy so that the film will lay on there real nice without, the thinner one I usually use is very flimsy, so as it bends, the film will just come off. But we have a thicker one that doesn't really bend. We'll put the film over that, and the whole top half will be kind of a mirror, so you'll see the little black square for the pump. You see the black fan, and then just like a mirror, and then when it turns on, it'll become see-through, especially since I plan on plugging in the UV lights, and then we also have the 3 fans, which have built-in UV LEDs, and that should look pretty nice. And I'm hoping we'll have the LED strip kind of snake behind here, hopefully up top, that way it illuminates the top of the DVD drive, which I will paint with UV reactive paints. I have a couple different ones. Maybe we'll kind of do a mixture or something, and then it should shine through the reservoir, and we'll use some kind of UV fluid, so that whole thing should glow pretty nice. So alright, let's get to cutting. Alright, so I have been busy. I still wanted to give somewhat of an update, even though I haven't really done much else on this yet, but I was waiting on some stuff to come in. Now, I was getting ready to, I took this apart. We will have to do sort of the same thing we normally do when we're cutting a window into our hard drive. We need to cut the this bracing off of the center trim piece here. And then obviously we will have to cut out the actual section. And then we're going to also remove this metal shielding instead of just trying to cut through it. It might fit with it still on there. Let's see. It looks like it would fit in between that, but I'll probably just remove this metal shielding anyway. I'd really just need the bottom, the outside plastic parts, because this will be completely gutted. It's just going to be there to kind of hold the reservoir. Now I'm going to try to build it so that our reservoir is mounted, and then the hard drive will go over it, because you can't really put the hard drive on until both sides of the Xbox are put together. And if that's the case, how am I going to connect the tubing? So obviously this is just going to have to already be connected, and then once everything's put together, all the tubing is, connected and everything, then this is like the last thing that goes on, because you need to put the top and bottom trim pieces, which that's another thing I will have to pretty much completely cut out the center of. I still want to keep the outer part of it. I don't actually have one down here right now to show, but because those top and bottom pieces have little pegs that kind of help hold the two sides of the case together, just knocking everything over. So anyway, getting to the point, you can see these little marks here. That's right where that cutout is, where I want these 2 barbs to be placed, because the DVD drive is right there, and the plug-ins here. That little box is right here, so I can't go any farther that way or this way. Now, if we have it like this, you see our problem is this is going to stick out pretty far to the front, and I can't get rid of this little mechanism up front that holds the front of the hard drive on, right? And if we're that close to it, I don't like that. There's a spring right here, right? And on top of that, this is our inlet and outlet. So in order to fill this thing, we're going to need either a 45 or a 90 that's going to stick out about right here, right, when this is all together. So the problem with that is that's too close to that mechanism. It also means we will have to get rid of those 2 screw points, which is going to be the only thing holding this whole shell together once I gut the whole thing and cut a big hole in it. So, our problem is that this reservoir is a little bit too long. So, what I did, now reservoirs are measured, usually you'll get a 100 millimeter, 150 millimeter, 250, 450, they go up pretty big. The one that I just took off of the PS3 that I'm planning to put on the 360 Slim, that is a 250. Now they measure those including the end caps, okay? So this is a 110 millimeter, kind of an odd size, sort of, but you know, this isn't a phobia like the PS3 one was. This is a, I think, Freeze Mod, or some kind of off-brand, basically. Now this one is also a 110 millimeter, but it has a different end cap. Okay, so I could use this end cap, and you see that's going to significantly shorten how much we need to cut out of here, and it's not going to go past where those screws are. But I don't really want to use this end cap, I want to use this one, so we're going to swap that. Already done. Okay, so now we got this one we can save for another project, and then we got this one, which has now been shortened up a little bit. We still got these, have to go about right here. And perfect. That's not going to interfere with those 2 screw points there or our front mechanism. And we will have it just how I was picturing, to where that little 45 will kind of stick up right here, or 90, whatever we're going to use. That way you just unscrew the little plug on the end and you can fill it up through there. Easy peasy. So the whole thing can be fully assembled, and then we can fill up the system. However, one, this video is already longer than I'd like. I'm trying to keep them under 10 minutes. Instead of, for a while I had, 15 to 25 minute videos. So I just wanted to show this because, one, I'm not going to be able to get cutting into this until the weekend, which starts tomorrow, actually, as I'm filming this. I also plan to upload this here in a minute. But, yeah, I just wanted to show that. So that's going to be our next step. I'm kind of debating if I want to see if I can still utilize this harness just for the positive and negative 5 volts, and then have a UV LED in here, or if I just want to maybe cut out a little more of this section in this case. That way I can have a strip behind this on the inside of the case that will illuminate this, because I think I'm leaning towards a UV green fluid. That way I've got a system that's red, the Xbox One S, I've got a blue one, the PS3 Slim, and then a green one. I think that would look kind of cool. Also, green is one I don't think I've ever used before. I've used this pink one a lot. I use blue for a lot of stuff, and I've used just red, not a UV red, but different reds. I don't think I've used the green fluid, either that one or maybe the UV purple. That might be a way to go, but we will see. So I'm going to work on that soon. I also wanted to show, well, one, I got a couple more 3-pin splitters so I can connect all of our fans on the radiator. Other than that, another cool thing that showed up, finally, is my lighting kits for my PSP. Like I said, I still need to kind of work out this PSP, the PSP 3000, with the whole case situation going on, so we'll figure that out. But one of these, I believe I got a light blue and a regular blue LED kit. So the blue one will probably be used, well, one of them is going to be used in the PSP 3000, the other one will be used in my personal PSP 2000, the one with the speakers on the back, and that one actually has a blue power light on it, so that's going to all match pretty nicely. And it's got, I don't know if it does, I think the faceplate isn't a see-through one, just the backing is, but I will get a see-through faceplate, or at least the buttons, so that this lighting kit will work. So, just wanted to show that. I still need to look up exactly how this is wired in. I think it's got 2 little soldering points here, and it comes with this really tiny wire, so it looks like it will be kind of annoying to put in. But they made it pretty easy. See, it's all connected. These LEDs will go behind the buttons. These ones go behind the arrow buttons, and these go underneath the triggers. So that will be a fun project to get into as well. But I am committed to finishing this one, at least getting most of it done this weekend, cutting out all this stuff and getting it painted so that we can get the LEDs done, get this thing put together once and for all. I'm very excited about it. And then, yeah, once that one's done, I'm still going to look into the PSP stuff, figure out exactly what kind of faceplates or cases I need to make all those work. And while that's going on, I'm also going to be diving into our PS4 water cool, maybe? We will see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video where we will get a lot done.